What is your full name, and why were you named it?
My full name is Margie Allen Cromer Durham. And my middle name, Allen, is the only one I know about. My older sister had a friend, and she wanted me to be named Allen, but nobody calls me that. They call me Margie.
Did you have a nickname as you were growing up?
Only my grandpa. He called me Marge.
Have you ever had any other nicknames as an adult?
I don't believe so.
What do your family members call you now?
They call me Margie.
What do your grandkids call you?
I got 5 grandchildren, 12 greats, and 1 stillborn. Anyway, some of them call me Ma Durham. Some of them call me Grandma Durham.
When and where were you born?
I was born in Stokes County, King, North Carolina, on Cromer Road. And Cromer Road is about 3 miles up the road, north of here. You go up here about 3 miles, and on the left you'll see a road that says Cromer Road. And that road goes all the way around, it circles around, and it comes out in front of Mount Olive Church. And I was born on that road.
When were you baptized, and what was your religion?
My religion is a missionary Baptist. And I was baptized August 22nd in 1943, right after I was saved at my uncle's house. I was saved on Saturday night, 21st of August, 1943, and we'd come from High Point. We was living in High Point then, and so I was baptized the next day and joined the church before we went back to High Point.
Was that the religion of your parents and your grandparents? Missionary Baptists? Was that the religion of your parents and grandparents?
I think most of them.
Which church did you attend?
King Mission Baptist.
Describe your religious beliefs. If somebody asked you, what are your religious beliefs, what would you say?
I believe in getting saved while you live here in this world. And you must get saved, get born again before you leave this world.
Do you believe in the afterlife?
Well, I believe in eternal life.
Have you ever had an experience that you would consider supernatural?
I don't think so.
What do you usually dream about?
No particular thing.
Where was your first home?
My first home was with my parents and my brothers and sisters.
Where was that located, if you remember?
On Cromer Road, King.
What were your earliest memories of your home?
We was all close family, and it was 7 children in our family. And the oldest one was a girl, and she was a nurse, and I was next to the youngest. And I always wanted to be a nurse like her. And also my sister, that's a little bit older than I am, we both wanted to be nurses. So we had 3 RNs in our family.
What are your earliest memories of your parents?
My parents, they were hard workers on the farm and very loving, and they believe in having prayer with us, and I'm used to that. even from childhood on up. But they died. My mother died when she was about 68. My dad died a little bit later. He was 72. So I lost my parents too early.
Wow. Do you have any memories of your grandparents?
Yeah, I remember good memories of them. I was young, but I remember.
They lived close by, was it?
Oh, yeah, I could walk up there. I could walk up to their house.
About how far and did you have to go?
Oh, just up the road. In fact, I was next to the youngest, and my mother would send me after my baby brother. He'd go up to my grandpa's, and he'd like for him to come up there, and he didn't want him to leave. He said, run to your dad, run to your grandpa, run to your grandpa. And I didn't like that, because my mother sent me up there to get him.
Can you tell me a story of any memory of your brothers and sisters?
I always admired my older siblings, and I loved them. But my two oldest sisters got married when I was real young, so I really grew up with their children, especially the second girl.
What were their ages and names, if you recall?
Of my siblings.
How many years older were they?
Well, maybe about 15, and the oldest one, she was already a nurse. And anyway, she was the oldest. And then Cleo Fowler was the next one. Her name was Viola Monroe. And the two oldest ones were girls. They grew up together. Then there's two boys, and they grew up together. And then there was two more girls, and my baby brother was by himself, and he said he had no one to grow up with him. But we grew up, me and him grew up together.
What would your family do for fun when you were a child?
We didn't have many things like ball games and things to go to. We just get together and maybe have picnics and just fun things.
Was there a chore that you really hated doing as a child?
I don't remember hating. I always tried to help out with the chores.
Well, was there a really laborious chore or backbreaking one? One that took a long time?
Tobacco field.
Describe what you did.
Well, you had to sucker the tobacco plant, and you'd get hot. And, the plants would be big, and you'd get hot.
Would you bring out lemonade pitchers or sweet tea or take breaks?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. And my mother would make hot rolls and send us some cold water and hot rolls to the tobacco field.
Ooh. What kind of books did you like to read?
Most any. I'm not too fond of history books, but anyway, most books.
Do you recall any of the names of those books?
Well, I used to like to read about Robinson Crusoe and stuff like that.
Do you have a favorite nursery rhyme or bedtime story?
Can't think of one right off, but we had nursery rhymes. I liked them.
What was your bedtime routine? Did your parents pray with you?
Go to bed and say our prayers.
At the foot of the bed or already in bed?
We used to go to bed and then say our prayer.
That saves time. Do you remember not having enough food to eat because times were hard for your family?
No, I didn't realize if it was anything. I made parents probably suffered, but I didn't know anything about it.
Well, your parents would have gone through the Depression. Did you notice any of their frugality?
No, I didn't notice it. Because we usually had plenty to eat on the farm. And I just didn't notice it.
What were your favorite toys?
I like dolls.
What were they like?
I loved them until I was about 12 years old. I just loved dolls.
All sorts?
Well, girl dolls mostly.
What kinds? Were there American Doll or?
American.
Okay. Yeah. What were your favorite childhood games? Do you recall?
Well, we'd play hide and seek, and then we'd play ball, different things.
Like baseball? Were you good at bat? Were you a good runner?
I thought I was.
Did you play with friends from school, or did you play with your family?
When I was in school, I played basketball.
Oh, wow. At school, were there any fads that you were a participant in?
Fads?
Yep, fashion choices. What was trendy? What did you want to wear?
What did I wear?
Yeah.
I don't know of anything particular, except they usually wrap us up pretty good because I had to walk all the way up to the road. You know, we lived down on Cromer Road, and then on 66, didn't go to our house back then. We had to walk up the road, so they'd have us to wrap up real good.
Summertime and winter?
Yeah, they took care of us.
Where was the school?
King.
Okay, the downtown center?
Yeah, King. I went to King High School, first grade all the way through senior year. Graduated, same school.
Wow.
And then they tore it down. They've torn it down now, but it really wasn't that old.
Mm-hmm. What was it like at school?
We rode a school bus, and I liked school.
Were you good at it?
Well, I thought I did pretty good.
What was your favorite subject?
I liked math.
What was your least favorite subject?
I wasn't too fond of histories.
Stands to reason. Do you remember a favorite teacher?
I loved my second grade teacher, and she was real sweet. Really, I loved all my teachers.
Do you remember her name?
Miss Wilson.
Wow. What made her special?
Because she would help me with my putting on my shoes, like rubbers, you know, and she'd help me.
How would your fellow classmates from school remember you best?
How would they remember me better?
Yep.
Well, I tried to be friendly with all of them.
Did you get good grades?
Well, I did fairly well, I guess. I wasn't a valedictorian in our class, but I was one of the ones next to the valedictorian. I had to say a speech, but my best friend was valedictorian.
Did you have school clothes or favorite piece of apparel back in the day?
I don't remember any favorite.
Any clothes that you're partial to? Any ones that, I like this a lot?
I don't remember anything real special.
Did you and your friends hang out after school?
No.
Okay. Did you ever receive any special awards for your studies or school activities?
Nothing but perfect attendance.
Wow. What year did you get perfect attendance?
Well, several of them.
Not missing a day for any reason?
Well, I remember it had to go straight every year, you know. Well, I got the 5-year pen and also 3-year, I believe. Anyway,
making it to school every day on a school bus. Straight attendance.
I like to go to school.
What did you do after high school?
I got on the school bus and rode home, helped with the chores around there and everything.
And then after you graduated from high school, what did you do?
I went straight from high school to Mount Airy to Martin Memorial Hospital, School of Nursing.
What was your first job?
My first job, when I was growing up, working in tobacco.
You got paid? You got paid for your work?
Well, we got our, what we needed.
What would, besides working in the field, what was your first, maybe in-town job?
Didn't have any in-town job.
Okay. Did you get a job after going to Mount Airy schooling?
I got married and went to work in the hospital.
Okay, yeah. How did you decide on nursing? You were inspired by
my older sister.
Did you think it was glorious?
I always played nurse or teacher or something when I was growing up, and I wanted to be. Well, my sister-in-law was a teacher. I liked teaching and nursing because of my elders.
Did you find that nursing studies in Mount Airy to be difficult or hard?
Not too bad.
So you were just living out your dream then?
Yeah.
Did you make enough money doing that to live comfortably?
I lived comfortable, but we weren't paid too highly.
How long did you have to work each day at your job?
Most times, 7 to 7. And maybe later on, an 8-hour shift.
So they started out at 12-hour shifts, but then backed it down?
Well, when we was in nursing school, we'd have to work a month, night duty, 7 to 7, have classes during the day. It was kind of hard.
When did you find time to sleep?
Best you could.
Wow. How old were you when you retired?
My husband had a stroke when he was about 62. A bad stroke. So I cut down on my nursing and helped him.
What year was that?
Well, he was 62 and I was right behind him, about 60. And then he lived 20 years after that. He had a bad stroke. But he went ahead with his work. He's in the grade business and he was determined to go ahead with his work. And he did his physical therapy and he did real well. And he worked after then.
How would you describe yourself as a young adult?
Nothing particular important about me.
What did your husband see in you?
Beg pardon?
What did your husband see in you when you first met him?
Well, he came to Mount Airy to nursing home. He and his friend to get a date. Okay, he didn't pick me the first time. And later on, his friend, and he also, he chose me and my cousin was up there. And we finally were married, both of us. We used to date together.
Wow. How old were you when you first started dating?
Oh, I was not finishing school. Denny Slate wanted to date me, and I was, what grade? Anyway, they had the funeral home over here. Well, my parents knew his parents, but I didn't much want to date him. And my mother didn't want me to treat him bad. And I'd make excuses. And I dated him a while, but that was back before I was not very old. But I was old enough, she let me go out with him, but my sister would go with me.
Well, where would you go out to? Was there...
Go to the ice cream place down here at Winston, where they have it. But, anyway, that place is still down there, I think. And we'd go to places like that. Stanleyville, at Shouts and Stokes, way back.
Wow. Well, what was his name? Who was your first date?
Denny Slate, I guess. You call that a date.
Yeah. When and where and how did you first meet your husband?
That was when I was in school nursing, 1940. Well, I hadn't finished, about 41 before I graduated.
So how'd you meet?
He came up there with his boyfriend, and they used to come up there and get dates for the nurses.
How'd he pick you? Well, what happened?
I don't remember exactly. It was another girl he dated before he got me. And so somehow he got me anyway. My cousin dated his friend, and they grew up together too. And then we stayed friends for all along. And we finally married both of us. Anyway, they wouldn't let us out on Saturday night. Friday night we could stay out till 10:30, I think. And on Sunday night had to come in at 10 o'clock, I think. Okay. They had a dance over at a schoolhouse or somewhere. I can't remember exactly. Anyway, my husband was a better dancer than I was because we didn't grow up to go to dances. And he could really round dance. We call it round dance. So he got a partner. And I didn't know how to round dance. So it made me kind of jealous. And so this boy came around, I had a square dance. And he asked me to dance for him. So I got in the ring. Made him kind of jealous.
Did he teach you to round dance better?
It worked out pretty good.
What did your parents think?
I don't know what they thought, but I liked it pretty good.
Was that the first date?
That's one of the first dates.
Any other places he would take you?
We couldn't go any places. They wouldn't give us much time.
So how do you think that he was winning going to the nurses? Wow.
We didn't get to go any places not far away.
How long did you know him before you got married?
About a year, I guess.
Well, was there any major events happening while you were dating?
We didn't have too many major events. I can't remember.
Where were you when Pearl Harbor happened?
Where were I?
Yep.
I was at Mount Air Hospital in the dining room.
How did you feel about that?
It was awful sad.
Worried that your boyfriend would have to go serve? Did he serve?
No, he didn't serve.
Can you describe how he didn't serve?
He was called, but he didn't. He was examined, but he didn't pass. He's physically unfit, but we never did investigate.
And so then what happened to him after that?
Then he got that job, you know.
Well, what job did he get?
After we was married, he got a job at Foster Tire and Rubber Company, making rubber pontoons.
Where was that?
Winston.
And
that's after we were married.
Okay, and then where were you working?
Well, when we got married, we lived in Hawthorne for 15 years.
And what job did you do?
Worked at the hospital, worked at the doctor's office for a doctor, did industrial.
So you were working at the same rubber plant?
Working.
That's really cool. Can you describe your wedding proposal?
He proposed all along during that time we couldn't get married. We talked about getting married.
When did he finally ask you the question?
I don't remember that.
Do you remember the wedding ceremony?
Oh, we went to Charleston, South Carolina.
Did you have many people attend?
No. We just went on a bus. We didn't have a church wedding, but we got a preacher, Reverend Kersey. And I liked Charleston, so we stayed down there a while.
So you had the ceremony there, and honeymoon was also there?
In his house. We didn't have a church wedding back then.
Wow. How long have you been married?
We was married 61 years when he died in 2003.
When and where did your husband die?
And where did he die?
Mm-hmm.
The Baptist Hospital. And when was 2003?
And
in October.
What did he pass away from?
Well, he fell here in the kitchen. See, he'd had a stroke about 20 years prior. And he fell in the kitchen, and he said he felt like he broke his neck, and I think he did. And he got complications after then, and pneumonia and different things. And he died in 2003.
You recall getting electricity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell about that.
Well, I was real happy when we got it. It was such a difference.
Well, what did you have to do to get electricity in the home?
What did we have to do?
Mm-hmm.
Before then, tobacco farming time, it'd be hot at noon. We'd have to rest a while, maybe lay down a while and rest, because it'd be hot and no fans. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Did your husband help get you electricity?
Yeah, he did. Out here in the country, we didn't have electricity way back.
So who did the wiring, and how'd you get electricity?
He helped wire.
So he was quite a handyman.
Yeah.
Well, what has been his jobs?
That wasn't his job. That wasn't his real job.
Describe to me the sorts of jobs he's had. What jobs has your husband had?
Oh, he worked in furniture factory, as I said. And when we first married, we was with my parents a while, and with his parents a while. And that's when he helped out around the house.
And he was a good help and a good guy.
Yeah.
Good father, good parent, good grandparent.
Real good. Excellent.
Was he a preacher as well? He was doing that at the same time as doing what else?
He was doing different things. He come up here, he was in the grading business for years.
When did he start preaching? Was the grading business before the preaching?
He started preaching when he was young.
Well, do you recall what year or what decade thereabouts that he started preaching?
Right after he got saved.
When did he get saved?
1943.
Okay. So you had already been married for a year and a little bit before he became a believer?
42.
Mm-hmm. And he became a believer. Did you become a believer soon after that?
Well, I grew up to be a believer. But he didn't grow up. And that he was in a different primitive Baptist.
Was there any contention between missionary Baptist and primitive Baptist in your family?
Not really. Except they didn't really believe like we did. They hoped to be saved sometime.
But he was confident?
Yeah. We believe in really knowing it, having the time and the place where it happens. Not just hope so. Did
he grow up primitive Baptist then?
Yeah, well, he didn't belong to him, but he grew up with that belief, you know. But he got saved before I did. And I grew up to hear about it all my life. And
so when did you become a believer?
After him. Well, I mean, I got saved after him.
Okay.
But I believed in it all along.
Oh, okay. So you made a final decision at that point. What sort of church did he start, or was he preaching?
He would go with his family to the Primitive Baptist.
And was there like a preacher slot to fulfill? And did he step into that, or what? Did he start his own church?
He started going to my church.
Okay. And so then when did he become a preacher? Did he become a preacher at that church?
After he got saved in 1943.
Okay. What advice would you give your grandchildren?
You thought what?
Just on how to be a parent.
Don't spoil your child, but be good to them and talk to them and reason with them if they want to talk to you and be help to them.
How did you find out you were going to be a parent for the first time?
Oh, I was real pleased.
What year was that?
But when I was working in that plant, I got pregnant and I lost the baby. Oh. And we'd been married about 2 or 3 years anyway. And I was 20 when we got married. And when Libby, the one you met here, she was born back when I was 25. But in between that time, they thought maybe smelling that benzene, maybe lose the baby. And that was real painful. That's really when you got called to preach.
So he left the rubber making business then?
Oh, it didn't last long. It didn't last too long.
Okay. What was his job after that, working in the rubber plant during the war?
It was probably in the furniture business. Oh, he helped his dad farm right after we got married.
So a couple jobs at the same time? Okay, wow. Doing tobacco?
Yeah.
How many children did you have altogether?
I had two daughters and then a miscarriage.
Okay. What was the name of your 2 daughters?
my oldest was Libby. She's named after me, Margie Elizabeth. And I named she after my grandmother Tillison. And then I had Patsy Jane, and she's named after my grandmother Cromer. Because I both named them after my grandparents.
When were they born, respectively?
47, 49, I guess. I believe that's right. I might be wrong.
Do you remember anything that your children did when they were small that really amazed you?
Well, we lived in High Point, and we lived near the school, and they walked to school. And anyway, I was nursing, but anyway, back then they had grade parents come to school, and I was one of the grade parents. And when I go attend to school, I'd have to spend as much time in one room as one. I had to treat them both just exactly right, or they didn't. They'd be a little jealous. I remember that.
What is one of the most unusual things that one of your children did regularly when they were small?
When they did, well, Libby wanted to ride a bicycle. We got a bicycle so bad. And we live near our main street. And she headed toward that street, and we took no more bicycle.
You took it away? You confiscated it?
No more bicycle.
Did you give it back, or?
I forgot now whether she tried it out or how it was. No, she didn't have a bicycle. It was too close to the main road.
Wow.
It was too dangerous.
What was the funniest thing that you can remember your children saying or doing?
Funniest thing?
Yeah.
Well, they was kind of scared at Halloween night when they go out. Back then, I might want somebody to go with them. They're kind of afraid.
That's true. Any humorous moments? Any lighthearted moments that you had with your family?
Right off, I can't think of one.
What did you find the most difficult about raising children?
Well, it wasn't real difficult for me. When I was nursing, they'd go to kindergarten, and of course I'd hate to leave them to kindergarten, but because when we had to go to school, of course you hate to part with them.
What did you find the most rewarding about being a parent?
All along, from birth on now.
Did you spoil any of your children?
I don't really think so.
Was there things they knew that they could ask you that they would get for sure?
I don't think they suffered for any.
Would you say you were a strict or a lenient parent?
Probably neither one. Not too lenient, but maybe lenient, but not too much.
How is your husband? Strict or lenient?
Same way. He might have spoiled more than I did.
Did you find that you had to treat each of your children differently?
No, about the same.
How did you feel when the first of your children went to school for the first time?
Sad.
How did you first hear that you were a grandparent, and how did you feel about it?
Okay, that's when Shannon had Tyler. I think he was the first one. And I was real happy. And back then, she had a job, and she asked me would I help take care of him when she had to work. And I did. And I've always left Well, I love every one of my grandchildren and greats.
How many grandchildren do you have?
I have 5 grandchildren, 12 greats, and one died at birth.
Do you know their names?
Oh yeah.
All right, list them off. How about?
Which one of the grandchildren?
Sure.
Grandchildren is, I'll start out with Libby. She was Libby, Patsy, and Eric, and I'm getting mixed up now here.
List them off as best as you can.
We had 3 girls, okay?
Okay.
And the Shannon, Jancy, and Tiffany. Okay, Patsy had 2 boys, Eric and Chad, and they're both ministers. One of them's in Tyler, Texas, and one of them's in Hollywood, Florida.
Wow.
And let's see, have I named them all? Is that 5?
Yep.
Okay, the greats, Tyler, Taylor. Tiffany's is Luke and Maisie. Chad's is Isaac, Ben, and Abby, and JoJo, Joseph, and David. Eric's is Bailey. I don't know where she is. Bailey, she's engaged now. Bailey and Christina and Grace. And they've been here visiting. And she's aiming to get married, Bailey. She'll be my first great to get married.
What advice do you have for your children and grandchildren about being a parent?
Beg pardon?
What advice do you have for your grandchildren and great-grandchildren?
To get saved before they leave this world. Yeah. The main thing.
Do you happen to know who in your household are believers?
Yeah.
Are they believers?
I think so.
That's good. Do you have any hobbies?
Not really hobbies. Oh, I used to like to do a lot of hobbies, but I don't now.
What do you do instead?
College go to Y.
Any particular thing you like doing at the Y?
Yeah, New Step.
What's New Step?
Well, it's a bicycle, but you do your arms and your legs. I used to do treadmill and all different things for years back. But now I only do the New Step because I can't do all of it.
It's good to stay active.
Try to stay active.
What hobbies did you have? What things did you like to do?
Well, I like to do needlework.
Do you have examples around the house?
Well, like pillows and.
Oh yeah.
And I did a lot of throw work for the grandchildren.
Mm-hmm. Did you like listening to the radio as a kid?
Oh yeah.
Or would you consider that a hobby?
I guess so. Yeah, I like that.
What sort of programs do you remember listening to? Or what was your favorite programs?
Way back.
Mm-hmm.
The Waltons and a lot of those old.
Why'd you like the Waltons?
Because it's, like our family.
7 kids and grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
And so the stories they were going through relate to the ones you were going through?
Except they weren't farmers. I mean, they weren't the kind of farmers we were. We were tobacco farmers. They were different that way.
When did you get a TV, and did that replace your radio listening?
Yeah, but I don't remember what year.
Did you see JFK's assassination on TV, or did you hear about it?
Hear about what?
John F. Kennedy's assassination.
Oh yeah, I knew about it.
Did you see it on television?
I remember when it happened.
Okay. What do you remember where you were and what you were doing when you heard it?
I was here. I lived here, and I don't know whether I was at home that day. Probably. I was here.
Then did you hear it on the radio?
Yeah.
Okay.
TV, I guess.
Oh, you saw it.
I think we had TV then.
Okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was a widely televised event.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That was very important. I remember back in Franklin Roosevelt days. In fact, I nursed a woman, a nurse, Ada Day, she was his nurse. He had polio.
Right.
And she'd tell me some tales, you know, and I didn't know whether it's true or not, but they sure were innocent.
So she was the
said she
nurse?
Was one of his nurses.
Wow.
Because she's kind of old when I nursed her.
Uh-huh.
A few years ago. I remember that. But she'd tell things that happened back then. And that was real interesting.
Did you remember listening to Roosevelt on the radio?
I'd hear, yeah, I liked him a lot.
Correct me if I'm wrong, like fireside chats or listening to his perspective on the radio?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And I nursed Dick Reynolds, you know, his wife. I've nursed some pretty important people, and I've nursed a lot of people that weren't important.
Wow. What were some of the important people you nursed?
Doctors.
Wow.
Doctors, and I worked for a doctor too, in High Point.
Any other world events you recall vividly? Like the landing on the moon?
Like what?
The lunar landing on the moon?
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
That was a televised event. Did you remember gathering around the TV?
In fact, I kept a lot of those papers in the upstairs and attic, like Kennedy and his brother, you know, Robert. And they're probably still up there because I can't get up in the attic now.
Do you remember the Berlin Wall vividly? The collapse of the Soviet Union?
I think I remember that pretty good.
Where were you on 9/11?
9/11, I don't remember where I was right then.
Okay. It's interesting. Any other...
That was terrible, though.
Yeah. Any other dates in history you remember really vividly? Or new technology that wowed you or surprised you? Or interesting moments in history that you were a part of?
Part of it.
Uh-huh.
I don't think I was part of
it. Did you always grow up with automobiles? Or was it horses and carriages, or a combination of both?
My grandpa had an old Ford, and he'd take us to the store in it. I remember that. Yeah, he had a car.
Model T, was it?
I guess it's a Model T.
Did it make that old Galuga horn noise?
Well, I liked going to the store. He'd take us to the store and buy us candy and chewing gum and stuff.
What sorts of candy did they have back then?
Oh, back then they'd have blowgum bottles about that big around, grape and red ones, and we'd get one of those things that lasts a long time. You know, we'd chew on the phone.
Did you save it overnight?
Sucker, and the drinks, you know, 5-cent drink maybe. And anyway, things is different.
What sort of drinks?
I don't remember him getting us a drink. we'd get chewing gum and stuff. I don't know whether they had drinks back then.
Huh.
That's way back.
Yeah. What was your favorite candy?
My favorite candy, I always liked Three Musketeers and Milky Way and things like that, Baby Ruth. But now I don't like the peanuts too good.
Has it changed, or has your taste changed?
How have they changed?
Have the candy bars changed over time?
Not a whole lot.
Okay, but your preferences have changed?
My because of me. I don't want peanuts now. Different things. I still like chocolate.
What's your favorite chocolate?
Just plain a Musketeer or something that don't have nuts in it.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm.
What's your favorite?
I would say Reese's peanut butter cups.
Oh yeah, I love those.
Mm-hmm. Describe a time and a place you remember feeling truly at peace and happy to be alive.
Every day.
Every day. It's a good way to live. What is the most beautiful place you've ever visited, and what was it like?
Well, that's kind of hard to say too. Going to the beaches, going to Orlando, and, Six Flags and different things like that.
So you've been to Florida and you really like it down there?
Yeah.
What is the longest trip that you've ever gone on?
I haven't really been on real long ones like a cruise and all. They've been wanting me to here lately, but we didn't do that back. In fact, we didn't have a lot of money and spare time and everything.
So did you ever take a long road trip across the country?
Nothing too much. Go to Norfolk or something like that. No, not real long.
Have you visited northern or western states, or have you been mostly in the southern and eastern states?
I say southern probably.
Okay. Do you know how many states you've been in?
No, not too many.
Okay.
West Virginia and North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Georgia. Let's see, no, I don't believe I've been to Georgia.
Well, how'd you get to Florida? Did you drive through?
Plane.
Okay.
I didn't go on a plane till after my husband died, I believe. So Shannon wanted me to go on a plane. So she said, we're going to Orlando, and you can go with us to Orlando, and Eric can come from Florida and meet you. Okay, he came from Hollywood, Florida, and I thought I'd never get there because that's a long way from Orlando.
That's true. How was it like flying for the first time?
It was real good. And I've been a few times, but I never did get to go on a cruise and nothing like that.
What has been your favorite vacation?
My favorite? Well, I like most all of them.
Any particular ones come to mind? Any nice ones? Did you go to beaches in North Carolina?
Well, when I went to first time I went to the beach, I was just little. And Daddy, I think, had a Plymouth. And we all loaded up and went to the beach, and I thought that was real wonderful. And my mother said, well, we can go to the beach, but I don't want to get on that water. Okay, we went to Norfolk the first time. Okay, we got on at Portsmouth, I think. Got on that ferry boat, drove the car in. She didn't realize it. And she said, no, don't want to get on the water. And we got on the ferry boat. We said, Mama, look back up behind you. The water is just departing. She was already on the water. I remember that. And I was little.
Did you learn to swim?
No, I didn't, and I should have. But the boys would swim, but us girls back then didn't learn how to swim like we should have.
Or was it because nobody just took the time to teach you?
They didn't do that back then.
Okay. Was it about propriety? Was it about modesty?
It's just a routine. Girls didn't go swimming like boys. But everybody needs to learn how to swim when they're growing up.
Mm-hmm. Any things that you did that were very special on vacation?
That's all pretty special.
All special. Do you have a favorite place you've visited?
Well, after Eddie died, they wanted me to go with them to Gatlinburg with me over there on Thanksgiving. And now last year I didn't go, but I enjoyed being with family because I missed him a lot.
Have you had any pets?
Any pets?
Mm-hmm.
No. Not particular, but my daughter did. Patsy.
Mm-hmm.
She loved pets.
So did you have many growing up?
Yeah. We got her one for Christmas.
What was the pet's name?
It was a little dog, and I forgot what she called it now. It's a long time ago. And she loved that dog. And she always loved dogs. More than Libby.
How many pets do you think she's had in your house?
Well, just the dogs. I don't like cats. I still don't, because they get my rabbits.
Oh, you keep rabbits?
I have wild rabbits, little rabbits, and they come in the yard, and a big fat cat up the road. Somebody's cat comes down here and gets them, I think.
Oh, wow.
And I don't like it.
Do you enjoy watching the wildlife in the backyard?
Yeah, and the deer. The other day, I saw several up there around that tree, apple tree. Yeah, deer around here, and rabbits and squirrels is aggravating. Get in the bird feeder.
You have a bird feeder. Do you like watching the birds then?
Birds.
What sort of birds do you have that come by?
Cardinals and a lot of mockingbirds and all kinds.
I'm going to ask you about your aspirations. Is there anything you've always wanted to do but haven't?
Always wanted to do.
Yep.
Not particular. I've usually been pretty satisfied with what I do.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever been to the World's Fair or some interesting convention?
No, I didn't do the World's Fair.
Here's a tough one. What is the single most memorable moment of your life?
That's not real. When I got saved.
Okay. No, yeah, that's an easy one to remember. What's the date and when you got saved? Just again.
August 21st, 1943.
Wow. I'm going to ask some favorite questions. What are your favorites? And they're just a list, so it's back and forth. And you can just answer as best as you can. What was your favorite animal?
A favorite animal, probably a dog. Certain dogs, not all dogs.
What's your favorite artist? Musical or paint or sculpture?
And my sister, she's an artist, was an artist, and she'd have painting. I wish she did that one, and she did a lot of paintings.
Do you have a favorite athlete?
Not particular.
Favorite author?
I don't know the favorite.
A favorite board game?
We used to, a long time ago, Chinese checkers and things like that, but not now.
Do you have a favorite book?
Bible.
Favorite candy? Musketeers, right?
Most any candy.
Most any. Favorite card game?
Not particular card games. I love word seeks.
Mm-hmm.
I love puzzles.
What's your favorite color?
Favorite color?
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have a favorite. Red. I like red.
Mm-hmm. What shade of red?
Most any shade. I like wine and I like bright red and all of them.
Mm-hmm. What's your favorite cookie?
Chocolate chips pretty good.
Homemade?
Yeah, they're good.
Mm-hmm.
You feel like doing them.
Yep. What's your favorite drink?
Mountain Dew, caffeine free, dye free.
What's your favorite flavor of ice cream?
I like fruit flavors.
What's your favorite flower?
Rose and carnations and gardenias, almost all of them. I love flowers.
Would you consider that a hobby?
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
so.
What's your favorite fruit?
My favorite fruit, I love apples, but certain ones.
What sorts?
I like it, but it's one that I like is bone. Let's see, bones, I believe they call them, but I don't hardly have them anymore. The merit apple's good. I'm not crazy about the granny.
For eating straight out or for baking?
For baking, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I like soft apples to eat.
What's your favorite holiday?
Christmas, Easter, 4th of July, all of them.
What's your favorite meal?
Favorite meal? But if I'm feeling good, most all of them.
What would be, like, if you had to specify the meat, the potato, or the veggies, or all the things on a plate, what would be a good combination? What would you like eating?
Chicken, and I'm not too fond of hams, and pork.
What's your favorite movie star?
I don't really have a favorite.
Favorite movie?
I don't go to movies too often.
Was there one that you saw that you liked?
Oh, yeah, a long time ago. I'm trying to think. Way back, I can't think of one right now.
We can come back to it. Then if you remember, just let me know. What's your favorite musical instrument?
Piano's hard to beat.
Mm-hmm. Favorite painting?
My sister's paints.
Favorite poem?
Not particular. I like most good poems.
Do you have a favorite poet then?
Alan Poe.
Oh, okay. Favorite restaurant to go to?
I have several favorites. I like Outback. I like, Little Italy's all right here in King. Town and country, I guess. I don't have no favorites. I love most all of them.
What would you say is your favorite season?
Season.
Mm-hmm.
I like spring and fall.
Cooler weather. Favorite singer?
I like hymns.
Do you have a favorite hymn?
I like all hymns, most all hymns.
Is there one?
Amazing Grace is hard to beat.
Yeah. Do you have a favorite sport?
I like basketball pretty good.
You grew up playing it, right? Were you pretty good?
Well, I got on a team, but I didn't amount to anything back then.
Was it middle school or high school or both?
High school.
Okay. What's your favorite style of music?
I used to like country music, but I'm not crazy about it now.
But you still like the old style, or has your
The
taste
old style.
changed? Okay. What's your favorite tree?
Tree,
Mhm.
dogwood.
What's your favorite TV program?
Favorite TVs is religious TVs.
What's your favorite audio or radio program?
Radio,
Mm-hmm.
the news.
Okay. What's your favorite vegetable?
I like most all vegetables.
Well, great. I think I've ran out of questions.
Yeah, I've learned it like most all of them.
Any other things you would like to say? If you had to talk to your great grandkids right now,
Great.
yeah, just so far in the future, you probably would never get to meet them, but they may get to meet you through this. What would you want to say?
Well, times have changed in 95 years a lot. Nursing has changed, and the world news has changed terribly, and a lot of things have changed since my day. And of course, it's still changing. Some good and some not bad, not good.
So they should just learn to live with the change, get used to it, roll with it. Any other things to say?
I can't think of anything right now.
Well,
Can you think of something?
no, I think we've covered it. It's been great to get to know you.
Thank you. Good to know you too.
All right. Well, we'll say bye-bye.
Okay.